Hey, everybody. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and on the Unseen Paranormal Podcast Facebook and MX4 Paranormal. Bring Lee in here. He took himself out for a second. What's up, Lee?
I,
How's it going?
I don't know what happened there, but doing okay. How are you?
I'm good. At least we can hear you this week. We're not having technical difficulties the first 10 minutes of the show.
Well, yeah, I know. But it keeps it real live, real time.
Sorry we're a few minutes late. I kind of fucked something up, so now we're good.
Yeah, this was Eric's week, not mine. So.
Yeah, we're good now. So, everybody, welcome to the Unseen Paranormal Podcast presents Paranormal News and Views with Lee and Eric. I'm Eric. That is Lee, of course. And
Hey,
what's up? What's up? Hey, there's a ghost behind you, Lee. Better watch out.
I know.
Something followed you home.
He's peeking around me here. Look at there.
So
He's my buddy. Been with me from the start.
I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag, Damien. We just recorded a paranormal roundtable with Mr. Damien on his YouTube, on his podcast, which he does audio and video for, and it is called Life Beyond 6 Feet. And the episode will be out next week, I believe. That is his season 1 finale. We did an awesome paranormal roundtable with Regina from PPF, who's a good friend of ours that we did a lot of stuff with.
You're giving it all away.
Well, he's going to advertise anyway. And then also Terry from Mid 10 Paranormal, and then as well as Josh and Damien from RKB. It's their show. And we had a great time. People should go check out that episode. Go check out Damien's show, period. I was guest number 1, which I feel very, very honored that I was guest number 1. He asked me to be on the show first. And then Lee was lucky number 13, which I think is cool too.
Yeah.
Lucky number 13. So yeah, we both had a good time on the show. Go check out Life Beyond
6 feet.
Yeah. If I can talk tonight. Sorry. Yeah, spoiler alert, Damien. I'm sorry. I figured we'd go ahead and get ahead on the advertising for the show. And I want everybody to go check out your show anyway. But yeah, he's doing good things over there on his show.
Absolutely.
And of course, we still keep coming with the new episodes of the Unseen Paranormal Podcast with the 3rd season going on right now. I got some more good guests coming up. We're going to probably take a break around Christmas, but that's my birthday too. So take a couple weeks break there. But I got some more good guests, scheduling some more good guests, doing some more interviews this week. And we'll do a little more housekeeping before we get on to the news and views. But we have some events coming up with Medics for Paranormal and PPF and the Unseen Paranormal Podcast. On January 20th, 21st, we are at Thomas House doing a public ghost hunt. That Saturday, January 21st, just sold out yesterday, but there's still some rooms available that Friday night. And for $100, what do they get, Lee, for $100?
Oh, okay. Let's see. You get your own room in the hotel. Unless you're there with a group or something, but you know what I mean. So that evening, before the actual investigation, the Thomas House, they provide us with a buffet style country cooked dinner, absolutely made from scratch, and it's absolutely delicious every time. That's one of my favorite parts. So we're ghost hunting as late as you want. Usually I start hunting down about 4 myself, but I've been known to go on all night. And the next morning, after everybody gets up and had a not so good night rest, you go downstairs and you get this country cooked breakfast, a buffet style breakfast all over again. Hey, Jen. And it's like I said, they treat you like family. They're amazing to us. It's helping them out as well because they're trying to keep up this beautiful old hotel that was built in the late 1800s. And just couldn't ask for a better location.
Yeah. And all the money that we raise from that event is going to go to next year's Paracon. We also have another event coming up. They're raising money to pay for the Paracon. Just so y'all know, we make 0 cents out of anything. We make all these events. All this money is going to put on the Paracon. The next event after Thomas House we have coming up is on February 4th at the Old Stone Jail in Franklin, Kentucky. February 4th? Saturday, February 4th?
I'm just making fun of your February.
2023.
No, I'm just making fun of the way you say
it. But those tickets are $40, and I will be there. Lee, Medics for Paranormal, will be there. Regina and her team with PPF will be there, and we'll be leading the investigations all night. And the cool thing about Old Stone Jail is that not only do you have the jail and the jailers' quarters on one side of the road, we also get to investigate across the street at the Simpson County Historical Society Museum, which is a very cool museum. They got a lot of cool stuff. They have an upstairs and a downstairs. The place is very active. The last time we did an event there earlier this year, I'm jumping ahead. Earlier this year, when we did an event there, we had a lot of activity, a lot of awesome stuff go on, and that'll be the doors open at 6. We'll begin around 7 with the Q&A and meet and greet and all that good stuff, and we'll do a little presentation for you. And then around 7:30ish, we will get on with the actual ghost hunt until midnight. So come on out and check that out. And that's what we have going on in the near future.
We're going to be talking about the equipment that we're going to have, we're going to use. Come on up, you're going to have hands-on, you're going to experiment with it yourself. You know, I want to know what y'all think about the equipment and whether you think it works or, you know, so I mean, it's a learning experience for us as well whenever people come out to see us.
Yeah, it's always nice to get different people's views and opinions on the paranormal. I like to hear other people's stories as well when we have the general public come out and hang out with us. That's pretty awesome.
And I will say this for the Thomas House investigation, Damien, your wife's gonna be there. She said it. She committed. I'm calling her out on air.
Yeah. Damien's wife is not that big into the paranormal stuff, but she's agreed to come to Thomas House, so we're gonna get her out there. But anyway, that's all the housekeeping for this week. Make sure you go give Megs for Paranormal on Facebook a like, and of course the Unseen Paranormal Podcast. Join the Unseen Paranormal Podcast Lounge. And also on Facebook, make sure you hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. And we'll be doing at least a few of these videos as our schedules allow through a few live streams throughout the months coming up. And hopefully we'll do a couple more for December's over. And I'm going to do some live stuff with guests as well coming up soon. Some of your favorite guests that have already been on the show we'll have on here live. But until then, we'll get on with the paranormal news and views. That's what you're here for. The great thing is Lee never knows about any of these. I pick the news stories, and so I think that's part of the fun for me anyway, that he doesn't know what we're talking about.
Well, I mean, it's paranormal investigating. I never know what's coming.
All right, so the first news story, the FIFA World Cup is big right now with a lot of different communities. I'm not a soccer fan, but it's a big thing around the world. You know, us Americans, I guess, just don't get football, soccer as it is. But the FIFA World Cup,
watching it at work.
The FIFA World Cup is going on, and what would it be without psychic animals predicting the winners? They got clairvoyant camels to mystic elephants and cryptic rats, and a range of animals that have predicted over the years. The way this started apparently was some years ago. There was a psychic octopus who put the TV pundits to shame with an incredible string of correct World Cup winner predictions, and that he was in the Sea Life Center in Oberhausen, Germany. But he had a really good success rate. He predicted 8 World Cup matches at South Africa's tournament in 2010, including Spain beating the Netherlands in the World Cup. So now there's all these other animal predictions that have come along. I thought this was interesting, but all the different animals. So yeah, Teo the otter. He had good news for Japanese fans at this year's 22 World Cup. He correctly predicted Japan's group stage win over Germany on Wednesday. So he predicted that win. And then he is at the Maxwell Aqua Park in Japan. But they gave him 3 buckets to choose from. Japan was blue, a draw was yellow, and Germany was red. And he did not hesitate picking up his tiny football and placing his bets on Japan. So they gave him a little soccer ball, and he put it in the bucket he thought he was going to win. Then there was Marcus the Mystic Pig from 2018. He selected apples with the English flag on it on British morning television. There was Nellie the Elephant in 2012. She had a win streak of 30 out of 33 matches.
Wow, that's
from 2006, 2010, and 2012. Excuse me. And then you had Camilla, the Mystic Camel in England. England likes these animals predicting things, don't they? Psychic animals.
Somebody just now mentioned Mr. Ed.
Right. Unfortunately, he's been long dead. I don't know if Mr. Ed ever predicted anything or not. But what do you think about these animals predicting sports events? I've seen this for like the Super Bowl here in America too, for our football.
I was reading my asparagus for dinner tonight. If you don't get that joke, watch the last episode. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, people have always used animals. I mean, Groundhog's Day, prime example, every single year. They're telling if it's going to be, warmer weather or if it's going to continue with this hellacious cold that I hate.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, it's always been, you know, there was a chicken. I read about a chicken that would pick the lottery numbers.
Yeah.
How.
By whatever they pegged at. Yeah. What do you think?
What I find awesome about it though is that people are going to actually bet on this. They're going to actually bank on this.
Well, apparently, I mean, according to that article, the animals have been pretty proficient. Hey, Cisco, we got a Cisco in the chat here from Journey Through the Gate. I love Cisco; she's awesome. Been on her show many times. We got Jen, we got Damien. Jen's asparagus didn't say anything to her last night. Love you, Cisco. Thanks for tuning in. So, what do you think about these animals being? Do you think they're psychic? You just think it's chance, or what do you think?
It's chance. I mean, you don't know what these animals are thinking. You don't know what they're actually feeling. I mean, when my dog wants to go outside, he says bark. I mean, seriously. I mean, right. How am I going to know that and whether he's going to pick a sporting event winner?
I don't know. Have you seen the videos of the one dog that they've trained to hit the different buttons to say different words? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
I mean, I know that has nothing to do with psychic animals, but this one husky is so smart that they took those the buttons that are the easy buttons or whatever. They have them where you can program them, say whatever you want, and they programmed all these different buttons for this dog to tell them what he wants. When he wants affection, he has a button that says affection. If he needs to go outside, he hits the outside button, and this dog knows what all these buttons mean. And the video I was watching the other day, the dog hit the affection button whenever his owners were loving on each other. He hit the affection button trying to break them up because he wanted their affection, not them affecting each other. Anyway, I'm just saying animals are smarter than what we give them credit for, but I don't know if they're psychic.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, on to the next.
But I mean, just thinking about this though, Eric, animals do have a heightened sense that we do on so many levels. So could that play a factor into it?
Yeah, I think they have a sixth sense like we do, just because a lot of them are prey, and they got things out trying to eat them in the dark. So I think maybe they could have some sort of sixth sense, because of that, maybe evolve that as well as humans. But as far as being psychic and knowing the future, I think a lot of animals would not get eaten if they knew the future.
That's true. That is true. You're right.
Yeah. Oh, I got a bad feeling. I better not go right down this pathway. I'm going to get eaten,
Exactly. I don't need to cross the road right here.
Yeah. A lot less deer would be hit if they actually were psychic. So, fucking psychic deer. All right. So I found this interesting because we always, you never see like people talking about ancient ghosts, right?
All right.
So I found this article that's on the dailygrail.com about the world's oldest ghost. I can't talk today. Good Lord. Roman ghost, 2,000 years old. And this is found at the Treasures House in York, UK. The specters of marching Roman soldiers have been seen in the cellars of the historic property, most notably in 1953. So it goes on to say that in 1953, there was an 18-year-old guy who witnessed the figure of a helmeted Roman soldier emerging from the wall. He was only visible from the knees up, and he was followed by a horse and at least 19 others. So this was actual sighting that was reputable and not, But he kept quiet about his encounter until the 70s when he was interviewed by a group of academics for a television documentary, which kind of makes sense because back then in the 50s, people didn't talk about the paranormal and shit. The 70s came a little more prevalent, like with the Warrens.
Yeah, but that was in mid to late 70s because a lot of people didn't. Yeah, I don't know. How did he know that it's from 2,000 years ago? Where did that come from?
Well, I guess they were just saying 2,000 years ago, roughly, because that's when the Roman soldiers were kind of in the Europe area when they kind of conquered what's now the UK and things.
So we don't have any ghosts around here from 3,000 years ago?
Well, I'm getting to that. This is the article. They're not claiming. This is like a list of the world's oldest ghosts that have been
I'm sorry.
sighted. Yeah, no, we have older. We got older.
Why don't ghosts have feet?
I don't know. And I talked to Steve Stockton about that because when I had him on my show, he has one story about a pair of ghost legs running through Gatlinburg, Tennessee, that's been seen many times. And you always hear about like ghosts floating heads and things. And
Yeah.
to me, the legs are scarier than the floating head. And I think,
Yeah.
well, I think because you, as people, we look at facial like cues, right, to see if we're in danger or not. If you just see a fucking pair of legs running, you don't know if there's bad intentions there or not.
No,
You know, or like a ghostly hand or something. You don't know if it's trying to reach out to you or it's just the ghost is just struggling to get the fuck out of the wall. Like,
I just wonder
Just
what
needs a-
happens to people's feet when they die. That's all.
yeah, I don't know. That is an interesting question because there are lots of reports where people don't see the feet.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, nobody ever says, "Hey, I like those ghost shoes."
Right. The number 2 on this list is a Babylonian ghost, 3,500 years old, and this is actually they found a ghost on the back of a tablet, a carved stone tablet, and it shows a depiction of a ghost haunting somebody, and they believe this is the oldest known writings of people being haunted. But it's been in the British Museum's collection since the 1800s. But they recently found it contained the image of the ghost. Half of the front of the small tablet is missing, but back holds instructions for dealing with a ghost, which, I quote, seizes hold of a person and pursues him and cannot be lucid. So this thing is trying to give you instructions on how to get rid of a ghost that's attached to you from 3,500 years ago from Babylonia.
I'd like to I would like to see it exhibit a lot.
Yeah, and these stories, they get older as we go, but they're trying to say that pre-human ghosts, 60,000 years old or more. It's kind of trying to say that Bigfoot is a ghost. That when people see Bigfoot, that they're actually just seeing a ghost of like one of our long lost ancestors, or like Homo florensis, or some of those like upright ape species. I don't know how much I believe in that, but
I don't believe it because Bigfoot has feet.
I mean, also how because there are credible people who have got cast of the Bigfoot impressions and like mud and things. So we don't get that with regular ghosts. I mean, yes, with spirits, you've heard of like wet footprints and things like that in houses. I've heard stories of that, but I've never heard of ghosts leaving footprints in mud and things. So I don't know if I don't agree with this article that Bigfoot is us seeing a ghost of pre-humans.
But a lot of people say Bigfoot is actually from up there.
Interdimensional or alien.
Alien in nature, yeah.
Yeah, you got kind of two camps in the Bigfoot world from what I've seen in cryptozoology. You got the one camp that believes Bigfoot is a living, breathing thing. You got the other camp that either thinks they're interdimensional or aliens. So I don't know.
I was reading a story. It was a group of kids went out to a lake somewhere up north. I don't remember. And while they were there, they had both interactions with Bigfoot and alien as well, ufology. There was a UFO sighting. So there's kind of what piqued my interest in that. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent.
Oh, you're fine. We go down all kind of rabbit holes here. So.
Oh, that won't be the last one.
So this last one I found very interesting because they're also saying that some other cryptids could be ghosts instead of something that's still living. Triassic ghost, 220 million years old. There's a snake demon, Viveron. It's listed in the Guinness World Book of Records as the oldest ghost. The sightings of a huge 19 to 29 foot long ghostly rattlesnake-like creature have been reported on the land surrounding what is known as Ghost Ranch in New Mexico's Rio Arriba County. And there have been reports dating back to 1500s of seeing this 29 foot long snake demon. But they also in that area, they find a bunch of, it's one of the areas where they find some of the more fossils than anywhere else, especially of like sea creatures. So most recently in 2016, a hugely toothed jawbone fragment was discovered in this area. It belonged to not to a phytosaur, but another snake-like crocodilian ancestor cousin. The partial jawbone was found to belong to a previously unknown subspecies, but they called it the Viveron haydeni. It's a reference to the snake ghost. So they actually named that fossil after the snake ghost. But that's interesting that people since the 1500s have been talking about this snake demon ghost type creature. I would put a little more credence into that cryptid being something.
Yeah, but rattlesnakes. I mean, I don't know a lot about them, but I never thought they would grow that long.
What do you mean?
Well, you said how long did you say it was? 19 foot?
19 to 29 feet is what people describe it as.
Yeah, so I mean, it's got to be. I would call it cryptid. I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, Northwest Paranormal. Thanks for joining us again this week. Good to see you. We're doing well, thank you. What do you think of parallel universes could be a thing of us seeing things? I think that and time slips, in my opinion, could be part of it. I think the paranormal, the more that I talk about it, the more I research it, the more I talk to other people, I think it's an amalgam of a lot of different things that we don't understand. I think some ghost maybe parallel universe. I think maybe shadow people are in that. But I think there's lots of different explanations for a lot of the things that we're seeing, not just one or two. I still think that our spirits can stick around too, when we die. But I think, there could be a lot of things coming from parallel universes. I mean, that's a big topic, especially with like quantum physicists and things now. They've actually kind of proved that there are parallel universes, but they just don't know. Okay, maybe we exist in another universe, but we're completely different than we are here, right? So I don't know. That's definitely an interesting topic, interesting rabbit hole to go down.
But answer yourself, I think that it's entirely possible. I mean, I absolutely do. Too many things are going on that can be explained. I don't think there's that many crazy people out there. I really don't. People talk about the veil getting thin between the fine line between the living and the paranormal. I don't see why there would be any difference when it comes to parallel universes.
Well, let me tell you a quick story that I don't think I've ever told before. Hey, Harold, thanks for joining us. A quick story that I've never told before to anybody, actually. I was driving through town about 3 o'clock in the morning where I live out here in the small town. I had to run out and get cigarettes, and I hadn't been drinking, nothing, completely sober. Had to run out and get cigarettes at the local MAPCO that's like 24 hours. So all of a sudden, I look up in the sky, and I thought the moon had grown like ginormous. But it was this Saturn-looking planet. It looked like our moon, but it had rings around it. It's kind of taking up the sky. And I saw it for about 10 seconds, and I'm blinking. I'm like, am I asleep? Am I hallucinating? Like, what is going on? And I actually pulled my car over. And then slowly the sky just fizzled back into the normal night sky that we know. So I don't know if I was hallucinating. I don't know if that... I don't know, because like I said, I hadn't been drinking or anything. It was late at night. I was tired, but that's one of the craziest things that I've ever seen with my own eyes. So I don't know, is that a parallel universe? Like, did I just see a glimpse of it, or was I hallucinating because I was tired?
If people would take time and look up, you're going to see a lot more than you ever thought was possible. I've realized that since I started going into the paranormal and including ufology into that.
Yeah, and at first I thought it was like maybe a reflection of the moon on my windshield, and it was some kind of optical illusion. But no, it was insane, and there was no street lights around. Like I was on a part of the highway, there's no street lights, and so I don't know.
On the road, there wouldn't be any other reason. You said it morphed back into the night sky that we know, right?
If you're it kind of slowly dissolved.
Nothing is going to change that.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe it. Well, and also, Northwest, people disappear. And, talk about, I talk about that a lot on the show, especially when I have Steve Stockton, who's kind of my go-to guy when it comes to the missing person stuff. But I think there's lots of explanations for the people going missing in the national parks too. One of the interesting things that I've seen with that is there's a map of the U.S. cave system. And if you put the missing people, the clusters of missing people over that, they almost match perfectly. So I don't know if that has something to do with the cave system, or if the cave system has something to do with different energies and portals and things like that. I don't know. It's an interesting topic for sure. There are people more well versed in it to talk about it than I am. I'm a ghost
What
guy.
I'm really curious about, whenever we went on an investigation, Eric, you were actually on it, and they told us, they said, if you're in the backyard and you see a blue something that doesn't look right, don't go over there
Yeah.
because it could be a portal or interdimensional. What I'm curious, if anybody is watching, if they have actually seen something like that, whether it's called a portal or a gateway or a time rip.
Yeah.
Because somebody that was on my paranormal team, she actually went into a time slip, or we did, or something. You know the story.
Yeah.
So
I've told the story on the show a few times.
yeah, I mean, I love that story, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you
That's the
now.
only thing. That's the only thing about going to Thomas' house for my fourth time that I worry about is going into a time slip like she did, because that's freaky. And I think some of the missing people go into things like that and they never come out. That's why they're just missing, or when they do come out, they're dead for some reason, or you know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of the missing people phenomena, they are found where it's been searched a dozen times, but all of a sudden they're right there off the trail. No explanation whatsoever, and that area's been searched, and they would have been within, or they would have been within like earshot of the rescuers or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely crazy things going on.
That interdimensional or ufology or anything like that.
Yeah. Jen said she was worried about the Thomas House time slip too because she has heard the story.
Well, I mean, it's a great story. Me and Eric and my former teammate Paula went to Thomas' house, and we're investigating. There's some other people there from out of town. They were investigating with us. So Paula decides she's got to use the restroom, so she goes into the ladies' room down on the first floor. Comes out, and she's looking for everybody else. Cannot find us. Eric, I couldn't remember. Were you there or not?
I was not. That was you, her, and the Connor.
Okay, I apologize. So anyway, Paula came out of the restroom. She was looking around for us. She could not find us. She searches downstairs, all around downstairs. Thomas' house is a big place. Searched around upstairs, did not find anybody. She went into the room.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead. She went into the room that her and I shared, and she saw our belongings there. So she saw the belongings, but we weren't there. So she picks up the phone and she's texting me. She's calling me. Cannot get a hold of me. So she goes out of the Thomas house, walks across the street to the church, thinking that we're over there. So while we're at the church, she tries to call again, and on the way back over to Thomas' house, she calls her boyfriend Toby. She's like, Toby, I cannot find them. I don't know what's going on. They are not here. Their stuff is here. I'm freaking out. And Toby says, well, they're probably playing a trick on you or something like that. So Paula, she goes back into the Thomas' house again. She goes back into the restroom, and then she looks in the mirror. She just kind of gathers herself, comes back out again, and she hears some noise upstairs. Comes upstairs, room 37, Sarah's room, and she finds all of us in there. She came in there. She was screaming, where the hell Where the hell were you? Why were you not responding to me? And I'm sitting here, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on here? So she says, I have been looking for you. I have called you. And I showed her my phone. I did not receive a single text. I did not get a single phone call. But she did show me where hers were sent, and they went through. So we have pretty much determined that it was a time slip. Don't know if it was her that slipped into one, or if we went into one and she was still in real time. Has anybody else had anything kind of like that?
Well, the thing I find interesting too about that story is that the fact that she was able to call her boyfriend and talk to him
tells me she was in real time.
But you never got any text messages or the voicemail she left you. You never got.
Nope, I did not.
And also, Paula is very credible because she is the one that never has anything happen to her. So for her to come up with this story out of the blue, I believe that it really happened to her.
Oh, I did.
And
just to see how fucking freaking out she was.
Yeah.
I knew she was scared. I knew something had spooked that woman to her core.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Blue Crossroads, thanks for joining us.
Northwest Paranormal. That's interesting right there. So going upstairs like twice in one time period, that's amazing.
Yeah, you get into like doppelgangers with that. There's some interesting stories of doppelgangers, of people being seen. I've even talked to, I believe it was John Olson from Stranger Bridgerland, a series of books, and he has his own podcast, but he has a story in one of his books of a college student on college campus coming face to face with his own doppelganger, or seeing his own doppelganger, and the dude's alive. He's not, and he was on the college campus, saw his own doppelganger. But yeah, that's interesting. Seeing your uncle going upstairs twice. So Blue says saw a bright light just after seeing a strange being that had run towards the area, and that the light was in. That's interesting.
It very is, very much.
The Mandela effect. Maybe the Mandela effect is too, like, if we have a mirror dimension that's kind of like our own, maybe it's the two crossing over and things getting mixed up. I don't know. I don't know about the Mandela effect. I believe in it because some of the things that I've seen that people claim a Mandela effect, I remember it the way they remember it. Mm-hmm. So Berenstain Bears and things like that are interesting. But we'll get back to some news stories here. So this one I love, and this one we hadn't talked about, and I've been meaning to talk about it. This happened a few months ago, but on October 18th, a grandmother arranged to have cards given to her attendees who would remind them that she's not all that far away. The card they had them hand out has a photo of the grandmother. She's throwing up her two middle fingers, sticking her tongue out, and along with the photo, a message states, "Let's keep in touch," and it has a little Ouija board on it.
Where was it at?
How awesome is that? Let me see if I think I can share this screen here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Let me go to it. Can y'all see that? Can you see it, Lee?
Nope.
Oh, well. Here, it might help if I actually click share. Here we go. Can you see that?
Yes.
So that's the card that everybody at her funeral got.
I would probably do something like that.
That's awesome.
See you soon.
Awesome. Shit. Stop screen. There we go. Sorry, y'all. I've got to get used to StreamYard. I'm usually on the guest part of StreamYard. This is my first time really running StreamYard. So, what do y'all think about everyone having a twin somewhere in the world? I've heard a lot about me having a twin here in Middle Tennessee, actually, and people say that they actually think it's me. I haven't heard anybody say they've gone up to this person, but especially when I was younger, I worked at Walmart in Franklin, at the Cool Springs Walmart, and they thought I came in on my day off one day, and I was like, no, it wasn't me. But they swore up and down that there's a person who looks just like me. What do you think, Lee? We had this conversation the other day, actually, Lee.
We did, actually. I don't really know if it's a twin somewhere in the world, but I know on a damn daily, more than one person looks at me and they say, "We've met before. I know you from somewhere." And it's so much so that it's actually almost disturbing to me, thinking that all these people think they remember me from somewhere.
Yeah.
But as far as, a twin, no. Doppelganger, maybe.
Well, we talked about the research with the doppelgangers, with people being your twin, that they've actually done DNA, and those people that look almost identical, even though they're not related, have really close DNA. I think we talked about that on the last Paranormal News and Views.
We did.
Northwest says, "I'll have my ass and see my two son and tell everybody kiss my ass." Right.
So Eric, I'm going to ask you a question. I like to other people. Deja vu. I'm curious, and I have a reason for asking. I'm going off on tangent, but I don't care.
You're fine. Go ahead.
I've had deja vu, just like everybody else. You walk into a room and you're like, I feel like I've been here before. But not long ago, I had an experience that I've never had before, and it was
Nope, he cut out.
like somewhere, and I thought to myself, God, I remember that. I remember that happening. And so I went on about my business. Well, 2, 3, 5 minutes later, I'm like, huh?
Is Lee cutting out, or is it me? You there, Lee?
No.
You there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think you're cut. I don't know if you were cutting out or I was cutting out.
I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Blue said he's freaking up in your. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know where I've got to,
but we didn't hear half the story.
Do what?
Well, we didn't hear half your story. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, well, I'll try to make it quickly. I apologize. Eric, you are not cutting out. So it's probably my mic going out again.
No, it's your video.
Can you hear me? All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Well, so much for not having technical difficulties tonight. Anyway, sorry about that, y'all. I don't know what Lee was trying to say. I'll tell y'all while we're waiting on Lee to come back. I'll tell y'all something that happened to me the other night that was really strange. My house is haunted, which y'all have heard me talk about many times on the show and on live streams I've done, other people's shows. But I walked into my kitchen right after it was I had a friend over. We were gonna watch the Preds game because I'm a huge Nashville Predators fan. But anyway, I walked in my kitchen waiting on my friend to come over, and I heard something hit the floor in front of me. And I looked down, and there's a piece of candy corn laying in my kitchen floor. And I'm like, what in the hell? Where did the candy? I'm diabetic, so I don't eat candy corn. Candy corn ain't been in my house. I don't know how many years. I had just swept and mopped, so there's no way. Also, I have 8 dogs, so if there had been candy corn anywhere around, they would have already ate it, right? Because they're scavengers. You know, they sniff around, they look for things that are laying in the floor. If you drop something, of course, they're gonna snatch it up. But I'm like, where in the hell did the candy corn come from? And my husband come out of our bedroom and was like, what are you doing? And I was like, candy corn, where'd that come from? But I heard it hit the floor, so I don't know what the hell. Have y'all ever had anything like that happen where something? I guess it was thrown at me. I don't know, it just come out of nowhere. And like I said, I heard it hit the floor. Y'all ever had that ever happen to you, where something threw something at you, or something just appeared? It was really weird. I've had lots of paranormal activity happen to me in my house, but not anything like that. Lee has come back.
I hate
Hey, you're back.
my internet service provider. I would say people don't get it, don't get what I've got.
I was just telling them what happened with the candy corn.
Oh yeah, that was great.
I can't explain it. I don't know where it came from. I had just swept and mopped, so I don't know where the candy corn came from. So, parallel universe. Yeah, I'm with you, Northwest.
Thank you very much, Jen.
Weird. Jen says it's creepy when I go somewhere and I have been, and it looks familiar, and I feel like I have been there before. Or when I go somewhere and it seems like a place I've seen in a dream. Yeah, I have that all the time too.
The thing I was actually talking about was a little bit different. I'm going about my business, and all of a sudden I had this memory in my mind, of a landscape and people standing out there, and I thought, yeah, God, I remember that happening. 25 minutes later, it just hit me. I'm like, why do I remember that? I've never been there, but it's not like deja vu. It's not like I've been there before. It's like I was remembering something that I could not, I knew I hadn't experienced or consciously experienced. I'll put it that way. So I know it's not like deja vu, but it was almost like I've had a memory that I just don't remember having. But it was so pure and so clear that, I remembered it happening.
Yeah, I've had those dreams. Northwest says dreams. Oh boy,
it wasn't a dream though. I was wide awake.
Yeah, well, I've had dreams that have come true, which is fucking weird. But I don't know if that goes along with being an empath or what. But they call that what, precognizance or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I've actually had that as well.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's kind of scary because you have a bad dream, makes you wonder,
Well, and it always tends to be dreams that you remember, because most of the time when you dream, you really don't remember. Even if it was a weird dream, you wake up and you're like, well, that was fucking weird. But 5 minutes later, you can't remember it, right? But these seem to be always dreams that I vividly remember. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what it is. It's pretty interesting.
And Jen, yes, I do believe in it.
Thoughts on reincarnation and past lives? Yeah, I believe that there's a doctor. I try to have him on the show, but he's not doing interviews for that anymore. But you're fine, Jen. We go down rabbit holes anyway. But there's a doctor who has a really good book about past lives. And he is a doctor in psychology, I believe, and he's also a professor at either Yale or one of those big Ivy League schools. But you can go find his book, and I cannot for the life of me think of the name. But he wrote this book about the case studies, and he does it he's come to the conclusion that past lives have to be real, because he studied these kids all around the world that had no way of knowing the things they knew. And so I think that's definitely possible, and that goes hand in hand in reincarnation. I did have the opportunity to talk to Dr. Raymond Moody, who has some interesting thoughts on that as well. But he's actually the doctor who coined the term out of body experience, and he's done lots of stuff on that too. Dr. Raymond Moody, and there's a few other doctors who come at it from a very clinical approach. But go check out Dr. Raymond Moody's book. And I can't remember the other guy, but if you look up past lives and psychiatrists, psychologists, you'll find the other dude. Unfortunately, like I said, I couldn't get him to come on my show. They were very nice about it, but I couldn't get him to come on the show. The logo in the upper corner there is the Paranormal News and Views picture that we put up everywhere to advertise for the show. All right. Anything else before I go on to the next news bit here? There's a man on TikTok and YouTube who swears he's been keeping a Bigfoot head frozen since the 1950s. He says it weighs over 120 pounds. And the family legend goes that his father had shot the Bigfoot back in 1953, and they had to cut it into pieces to get it out of the swamp where it was killed. And they kept him in a commercial refrigerator since 1953. And when his father died, this guy, the son, received the strange creature as part of his inheritance. And he shows the Bigfoot head on TikTok. You can look it up. Creepzone.tv is where I found it. But also ximplore.com has the story if you want to go check it out. And I can put the link up on the social medias so y'all can go check it out. I can put the link in StreamYard actually in the chat if y'all want to go check out this guy and this video. But yeah, he's been keeping this Bigfoot head, and it's interesting. It looks real when you watch the video, and he swears it's not a prank. And apparently on this dude's YouTube channel, which I could not find because they don't say his name on here. Excuse me. He claims that he claims that he's shown on his YouTube channel. He's shown the Bigfoot penis and various other parts of the Bigfoot.
Don't you think if it was authentic that the government would have taken it long ago from him?
Well, they've kept it secret until now.
Still, even now, though.
Well, hopefully he puts it up for scientific scrutiny. Like, let them come and take DNA samples and things, like, and see if it's real. But yeah, he says in the video that he's shown it on his YouTube channel, Bigfoot penis, Bigfoot feet, and all that. And so naturally, I was curious about Bigfoot penis, so that's what I was looking for. So, well, we've seen castings of Bigfoot feet. So,
and poo.
And poo. Yeah, we talked about the Yahweh poo, and Bigfoot hair and things like that. But yeah, he's sort of just keeping a Bigfoot head and a Bigfoot body in this freezer. Who knows? There's all kind of people hoaxing shit just to get.
Well, I mean, that's got to be the only documented case of actually having parts of a Bigfoot.
Yeah, well, I mean, if there's any truth to it, he's probably been visited by the Men in Black now to see if he really has a Bigfoot.
I'm very sure the Bigfoot family come and got him. I don't know.
Yeah. This is an interesting list, and this is a discussion list for sure. The three things you should not. Three things you shouldn't do if you suspect your home is haunted. Number one, challenge their right to be there. I disagree with that, because it's your house. You need to take the stance that this is my house. You don't have to be an asshole about it, but you need to take the stance that it's your house and you need to take ownership of your space. I had to do that with my house, with the resident ghost here, kind of have a come to Jesus meeting, as I say, and say, hey, we can cohabitate, or I can find a way to get rid of you. Like, I wasn't mean about it. I was just like, hey, it is what it is. What do you think about that? Challenge their right to be there. Should you challenge if your house is haunted? Should you challenge
anybody? But you, like you said, take a stand. I don't really consider taking a stand same as a challenge. I mean, they're most are reasonable. We actually have to take a stand on some of our home investigations, and 9.5 times out of 10 it does work.
Yeah, and the only reason I tell people that is because I've done it in my own house, and you've got to own your space, and that's what I've heard a lot of other people say. It's worked for me. I wouldn't be telling people that if I hadn't experienced myself. It's worked really well. You just you say, you're scaring me. This is my house. I don't know what you want. I'll try to help you out if you want to do that. But don't ever promise them anything. That would be some I don't know if Cisco's still watching, but she would definitely tell you, don't ever promise them something you can't deliver. So don't tell them, I'll get your message through, or, tell them, leave me the message and I'll try, to get it out there, whatever. But don't ever promise, even spirits, because they might bug you even worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 2 on their list here is enlist the help of charlatans. All right, come on. This is common sense. Okay, so you're knowingly going to enlist the help of somebody who portrays themselves to be something they're not, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous. Why is this on this list?
Can tell you.
And they go in the article. This is from Explore too, but they go in the article saying, don't invite an amateur clairvoyant in. Well, no shit. You want somebody to come in that knows what they're doing. And, a team. If you have a team come in, here's where the article says, and I quote under this. While people who find themselves in despair can easily be duped, spirits have no such weakness. It is for this reason that enlisting the aid of charlatans should be avoided at all costs. Well, no shit.
No, I just picture like a kid bringing in a Ouija board, and that's going to be your way of contact.
The third one I think is funny too. Number 3 of what not to do if your house is haunted. Wait them out. Don't wait them out, because I guess you'll be a spirit too by the time.
Yeah, you're going to lose there.
Hey, Sin, darling. Welcome in. Thanks for joining us.
Sin,
love you too. But wait them out. Like, if they're fucking dead, they're going to be around long after you're dead. Wait them out. Some of these lists they come up with is just what the fuck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Funny shit. I have another list that I just thought was interesting, because you always see these lists of creepy things that kids say, and I find some of them actually really, really creepy. Very, very creepy. You ever read any of these lists, Lee?
I'm sorry, I was reading Miss Sin. So sweet. It's good to see. I do too, baby. What'd you ask? I'm sorry.
I see these lists all the time of like the creepy things that kids say.
Oh, no, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, you've never looked up any of these lists?
Oh,
I like these. These are fun because some of these kids are saying some creepy shit that makes you also think about reincarnation and past lives and things too. Like this one right here. Our 3-year-old daughter was playing happily. She suddenly stopped and said, "The last time I was here, I was sitting by the river and some men came and threw me in. I died." She then went on playing and has no recollection of this incident. It was chilling.
Wow.
I'm just going to read a few of these. There's a bunch.
Yeah.
In my early 20s, I worked at a daycare. One of the 2-year-olds started randomly approaching myself and other staff and would simply say, "Baby ghost." This occurred every other day for a week or two. One day when his mom came to pick him up, I told her what he was saying and asked if this was from a TV show or book at home. The mom said no, but he'd been saying it at home too, and she thought it was from something at daycare. We were both silently freaked out. A few weeks later, the mom learned she was pregnant. Could have been a coincidence, but I can't help but wonder if he predicted pregnancy or the baby contacting their brother. That's interesting. He's already seeing the baby before it's born. Are you still there? You still with me, Lee? You falling asleep yet?
No. I'm not asleep at all. I was just sitting here thinking about an investigation that we had done where it involved a kid who could barely talk.
What's up, Mike from Manchester, England? Thanks for joining us, sir. Appreciate you. And he's thinking of becoming gay. All right. Well, more power to you. It didn't say miscarriage. It just said the woman found out she was pregnant. So maybe she didn't say if she had miscarried. That would have been my first thought too. So this one, we were driving to the city when, at the time, my 3-year-old pointed out the very tall skyscrapers and said, "I used to live in a tall building like that. Had a lot of I cannot talk. Had a lot of nice stuff, but it burned up. I was alone there. I didn't have a family, and now I have a family." He did this several times with the exact same story. We're a big family, and he adores his siblings. That's interesting. Another past life one. There's a lot of kids that say things about past lives.
Well, I was going to say that ties into the reincarnation question earlier.
Yeah.
Hey, Jen, it all ties together.
So this one is creepy. That this kid knew this was going to happen. When my niece was about 2.5, she told her dad on the way to daycare that they forgot the diaper bag for her sister, who was about 6 months old. My brother-in-law turned around to go back home for the bag. On the way back to daycare, there was a fatal accident involving both the cars that were originally ahead and behind him. He asked her why she told him about the bag. Her answer, the little girl in the front seat told her.
Wow.
I want to know how they found out that the cars that were originally behind him and ahead of him had an accident.
I don't know.
I have questions about that. Yeah, there's so many of these stories of people telling their kids have said. When my daughter was about 2.5, we moved into an old home that was used for the help of the owners of a mansion next door. We were getting in the car one day when she looks over in the neighbor's backyard and yells, "Hi," while waving. I looked over and saw no one there, so I asked whom she was waving at. She said the boys picking apples. There was one tree, but it wasn't an apple tree, nor was there anyone there. But she kept insisting they were. I met the person who lived in that house and asked if she had any sons. She said no, so I told her the story of what happened. She said, "That's strange. We just had an apple tree cut down that has been there for over 100 years. See, that just leads credence to me believing that kids just have the innate ability to see dead things, dead people, dead things, dead people. Let's see. All right. I don't know. Michael Dwyer there. Good for you, buddy.
So do you think TV shows tell some truth?
I think the writers for TV shows are people just like us, and they have weird experiences, and so therefore they write what they know, right? Especially if you're doing science fiction or something. If you had a paranormal experience, why wouldn't you bring that into like Stargate SG-1 or something, you know? And also, I think they do a lot of research, probably into things that we're talking about right now, you know. So I can go on with some of these creepy kid stories if you want, or we can talk about something else.
Give a couple.
I don't know how long you want to stream, but
I'm good either way. I don't know. Like I said, I mean, the house investigation that you and I did, the girl couldn't even hardly talk. She could not make a complete sentence. Yet we saw a video of her getting out of her bed, shutting the door, screaming into nothing. "Why are you doing this?"
No, that's scary.
You were there.
Huh?
You were there.
Wait a minute. What were you talking about?
Well, the darndest things kids say, you know. I mean, you remember that little girl? It was a house up in the White House.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that video.
Sorry. Her door, and she was saying on the baby cam, the nanny cam.
Yeah.
Then they are, "Why are you there?" Or "Why are you doing this?" Rather, "Why are you doing this?"
Yeah.
You know,
Where are we at? Lee lives in Nashville, and I live outside of Nashville, Tennessee.
South Nashville, Tennessee.
We are both Tennessee natives.
Shit. Where are you? Just curious. Don't say no.
I had something I was going to say, and I completely went out of my head. But no, I think with kids, I think it's something that's that is taught out of you as a child. Especially think it's because something that the parents are afraid of, or you know, they don't have any explanation, so they just say that. Sorry, get rid of the trash here.
Hey,
Washington State, cool.
Washington State is one of the most beautiful places.
But I think it's something that we have this innate ability to see the paranormal things, and I just think it's taught out of us. Just maybe not on purpose, but maybe your parents just don't know what to tell you, and don't know what to make of it, or it scares them, so they're telling you, no, that's just your imaginary friend, or you know.
Yeah, that's exactly right. However, we grow up and we become paranormal investigators. And I remember somebody had told me, they said, when you start doing this, you're going to start seeing more that's out there. You're going to start noticing more around you. And I don't know, it's like a continuation when you're a kid before you were talked out of it.
Yeah. Northwest says they'd love to do an investigation with us anytime. That would be awesome. We love investigating. Yeah.
Anytime. Planes go both ways.
Right. I got some family that live in Washington State. I need to
lives up there, but I'm always willing to go.
Yeah, I got some family that lives in Vancouver, Washington. But yeah, I just you know, one of the topics that come up that we've been talking about a lot here lately are Ouija boards and spirit boards. And it's funny because when we were on Damien's show earlier, we were talking about that and what we thought about them. What do y'all in the audience think about Ouija boards and spirit boards? as researchers and just as regular people. I'm not a
A,
fan.
a useful tool or a kid's toy?
Yeah, for me, I don't like that there's a human element involved um, in the Ouija board stuff. Here we go, Sin. Pappy in his last book about that. Her daughter almost died when born. The grandfather of the baby had died years before. Little girl was just walking and talking. She pointed at her grandfather's photo in the mom's childhood home and said, "There's Pappy." The mom asked her how she knew, and she told her he held me in the hospital when I was sick. Wow, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sin's got a new book out that I actually have a story in about my dog coming back in to visit after he passed away, and her whole book is about visitations from beyond with kids saying things like that
And you hear
and things
stories
like
like
that.
that all the time. So, but you hear it so much, how can you cannot, you almost have to believe it.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's in everybody's family. I don't care what you say. You can deny it all you want to. It's there.
yeah. Jen says she's not a fan of spirit boards and Ouija boards and that type of thing. Vibrations, yeah, energy from everybody. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, I think that human element is just too much, especially with the Ouija board, spirit board, because you could be subconsciously moving the planchette and not
Mhm.
know it. Or everybody, like you're saying with vibrations, Northwest, like having everybody's kind of energy is just kind of vibrating across the board, even though they're not meaning to move. Um, Jen said she was skeptical about dowsing rods, so she saw them in action. The thing about dowsing rods, you have to be very careful because it's the subconscious movement that the person's not necessarily doing it on purpose, moving them or crossing them. It could be just subconscious micro movements that can cause them to move. I believe in dowsing rods for certain things because um, they still use them to find where to dig for wells. All the technology we have, they use dowsing rods to find where to dig for well water.
Around my hometown, they were called water witches.
Yeah. Well, even like even in landscaping, when they're going to dig a well for like irrigation for sprinklers and things, they still use dowsing rods to tell them where to dig. And most of the time, they get hit water because the dowsing rods told them. As far as spirits, I don't know. I would have to take a human element out of it. So maybe we could set up an experiment, Lee, where we clamp them in and see if we can get them to cross to answer questions and things.
Well, when we did that pilot back in last fall, or yeah, last spring, summer, I don't even know what season it is. We had two people sit beside each other, and they were both doing dowsing rods, had them blindfolded. It's kind of like a cross between dowsing rods and the Estes method, and they were pretty spot on. They were going the same way. I mean, they couldn't see each other. They could not see their rods, which way they were going to tilt. That was actually interesting. So I want to do that when we go up to Thomas House next as well.
Yeah, Miranda Young does that. She does a blindfold and does headphones with the dowsing rods, and then she'll have. She usually only has her cameraman with her, but she'll have him set up on a board. Yes, no, and then like a random word like pickle, right? And she doesn't know what order they're in, and she'll ask questions that way. And she's had really good and gets it on video camera. If you watch any of her shows on YouTube, Ghost Biker, Miranda Young. But that's a technique that she uses, and I think that takes the human element out of it somewhat because she's not just asking them to cross; she asks them to point
Right.
to the answer. And so when you throw a random word in there like pickle that has nothing to do with the location, and you ask the question that goes to pickle, well, it's not nothing. But she also doesn't just do yes and no; she does actual answers and things that are to the actual location, but she doesn't know where the answer's at. You know what I'm saying? There's 3 or 4 answers on the board. I agree, Northwest, that we're antennas. I just have a hard time believing in the Ouija board and the spirit boards because you have the human element. Also, you don't always know a person's intentions either, and so I just inherently don't trust people, and so maybe that's my problem. But now I have seen the pendulum boards. You can get the tripod that holds the pendulum. I have seen them move on their own. I've got a friend that if he walks by one, the pendulum will move. It like is attracted to him, and I don't know if that has something to do with energy or what. But I agree we're antennas. I'm very much an empath, and Lee's an empath as well.
Sam, you said you can also ask the spirits where things happen and walk very slowly, like dowsing for water. I have seen that done. I've never done that, but I have seen it enough to make me think, what did I just see?
Yeah.
I can't dispute it, but I can't convince myself either way.
Yeah. I'm just saying that I'm still on the edge about dowsing rods for spirits and things. I I'm not saying I don't believe in them. I'm just saying I don't know. I'm a skeptical believer. I had to see things for myself and experience things for myself. Um yeah, I'm just for me, the only time I've really experienced the dowsing rods is when we've broken them out on public investigations and you have just people that you don't know because they bought tickets to the event. But Sin, when we get together and investigate, I would love to see how you use the dowsing rods. And I've just never seen anybody um, who's completely convinced me. I'm not steady enough to use them. I have ADD. I'm all over the place, and so I just can't sit still long enough to use them. Not saying they don't work. I mean, obviously, like we were talking about, huh?
Don't ride with you in a car.
Whatever. That's why you always drive, Lee. That's why I always drive with you. But yeah, I agree. You have to be skeptical as well. But
That's who you're with. Absolutely.
yeah, but I'm just saying that the times that I've seen them used have been public investigations where I didn't know the people, and so you don't always know people's intentions. That's what I was getting at. Not that the people I investigate with, like Lee or Regina, excuse me, from PPF, like I completely trust those people. And Sin, I would completely trust you because I know you. But yeah, I'm still on the fence about that. Like I am a lot of other things. Also, I'm not saying I'm flexible in my views because I've seen lots of paranormal stuff and experienced lots. Don't poke your eyes out, right? I very much believe in the paranormal. I'm just skeptical with a lot of it. And we were talking about equipment earlier today too. And me and Lee talk about equipment all the time. I'm not a big equipment person. Huh?
I said, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. Like some of the equipment, you're just not going to change my mind on. The SLS, you're just not going to change my mind. Nobody is. I don't like that thing. And the thing that I tell Lee also, every investigation he breaks it out, I'm like, I'm not carrying around that 20-pound brick all night, so you can give it to somebody else. But I'm not big on K2s and things like that. I am, especially the older I get, the more I'm all about the personal experience and the personal experiences that I have to prove to me that the paranormal is real. I'm kind of not out to prove it to other people at this point in my life. I don't feel like I have anything to prove to anybody. I can tell you my experience, you can believe them or not. I tend to err on the side of believing people when they tell me their experiences because I wasn't there. So when I was younger, 10 years ago, I would have told you completely different because I was a 30-year-old asshole, and I would have been like, no, I don't believe people and their stories, and even though I've had my own. But your views change as you get older, and so I'm on the fence about a lot of paranormal stuff. But seeing is believing for sure.
Definitely. Experiencing is believing.
Experiencing is believing. Yeah. Well, also seeing, like I saw that full body apparition at Thomas House the last time we were there. Mm-hmm. Jen, we were talking about this earlier tonight too. Big fan of apps on phones for ghost hunting. We do use some of them. I still go into that very skeptically too. But as you know, Jen, the last time we used y'all were at Thomas House with us, we used Necrophonic, and we got some interesting answers. Am I going to say that that's completely paranormal? I don't know because it's still an app and it's still man-made. But
when again, it hollers, you walk away scratching your head.
You walk away scratching your head, especially when it spits out people's names that you haven't even said, all night, or it spits out one person's name over and over. And that actually happened when Jen and Donna were there. It kept saying Donna's name. Well, we had gone around and introduced ourselves. So if the app is listening and spitting out names, why would it just center around on her, right? Yeah. And just that one name. So I think some of the apps do work at times. Yeah, when we were over at the church, Jen, across the street from Thomas House, yeah. So, and I've had it say my name. I've been cussed out through Necrophonic before, things like that. I've had it say 2 or 3 words at a time that were pertinent to a location that we hadn't said. So, but yeah, Northwest, I believe some of the apps do work. A lot of them, yeah, of course, you got like Ghost Radar and shit like that out there that's a crock. There's nothing that you can put on your phone that's going to be a radar to lead you to a spirit, anything like that. That's ridiculous.
Just like it points you to an alien.
Yeah, alien radar. Probably from the same people that make Ghost Radar.
It is. I forgot the name of it. It's the same.
Yeah. I've been told to go fuck myself and everything else through the Necrophonic app. In one place in particular, Oh, James called Jen a bitch at Spooky Pickle. Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
you must have made him mad or something.
the Spooky Pickle is a place for y'all don't know called Pickle Treats and Antiques in Gallatin, Tennessee, and it's owned by our good friend Shauna and her husband Randy, and they're awesome people, and they also are into the paranormal. But they have a resident spirit named James,
Mhm.
and this Pickle Treats and Antiques is an antique store, but we call it Spooky Pickle because James inhabits it. Um, no, necrophonic is it doesn't have a bank of words. Northwest Assassin, so that's not in the bank. Necrophonic doesn't have a bank of words. It has a bank of phonetic sounds. And so it's not even full words. So supposedly when you hear full words out of it, then you're actually getting some sort of spirit communication. The one thing I don't put too much credence in, and I haven't had a lot of experience either, is the Ovilus. I don't know about that thing. Spitting out words and
I'd
I
have to
don't know.
see it, and I'd have to use it to know. That's all.
Yeah. Jen said she was just an innocent bystander. Um, that's funny.
Hey, he's very territorial. That's for sure.
Well, hopefully kids aren't using the necrophonic app. It comes out with some scary noises too. Um, it doesn't just spit out words, but it has some scary screams and huh?
Nothing. That's the way it comes on. Nah, cool.
Oh yeah. Also, there's some like fart noises that come through necrophonic sometimes and things, but it's an interesting app to use. I've seen other people use Echovox. I don't know how to set it up. You got to have a degree to set up Echovox.
Somebody actually set mine up, and I had the settings saved, and my phone crapped out on me.
Mm.
I lost it. So, and Sin, I would love to use the obvious as well, just to see it.
Yeah. The thing, okay, my experience with the obvious is from TV, and TV they're always stretching to connect the word to what they're doing. I like Destination Fear, not as a paranormal show, but just to see them get scared. Right, I think it's an interesting show. They go to interesting locations, but yeah, ghost farts. That's what we always laugh when those fart noises come through necrophonic. But the other night on Destination Fear, they heard 3 knocks, and then the obvious said count, and no. They were saying that that's in reference to the 3 knocks. Count. No. What does that have to do? That hasn't. If it would have said knock at the same time they heard the 3 knocks, all right. Also, it's a TV show, so I don't know if somebody's down there knocking at the other end of this tunnel they're in either. So And also on that episode, they kept hearing, the music box that goes off whenever you break the beam or whatever.
Yeah, there's music box.
Yeah, they have one of those. Well, they kept hearing it in this place too, and it kind of made me think that it was put on by the producers a little bit or something. Because, the music box was in their gear room. Supposedly, they didn't have it with them, but they heard it twice throughout the night of the music box music. But they claimed it was in their gear room. So I don't know. It may just be TV, and yeah,
it may be, but it's the same as a REM pod being in the next room. You hearing it go off. Same.
Yeah, but they were like 3 buildings away from where the music box was supposedly. There was no way that they could hear it from there. So yeah, I don't give any credence to the TV stuff. It's all TV. It's entertainment. I'm entertained by. Some people are entertained by Ghost Adventures. I'm not. I hate that show. I'm entertained by Destination Fear. So
it's on TV. It's real, right?
Right. Lee, if you get on TV from shooting your pilot, you're going to have to fight the TV stuff too.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, that pilot when it takes off, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, we're true investigators too. That's why I'm so skeptical all the time about everything. But I do enjoy Destination Fear. I don't like a whole lot of the ghost shows.
Northwest, that's exactly right. Don't fake it. We go fishing, cast that line out there. We're going to catch something or not. If we don't catch something, by God, I'm proud to say we didn't. But it doesn't mean that there's not any paranormal activity there.
Yeah, what is that you say, Lee? We walk in, they're like, "Oh, I got to do some ghost shit now."
Yeah, I mean, every location you got some ghosts in there watching TV. Oh shit, they're here. I got to get up and do some ghost shit.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna wrap it up. It's 20 after 9. It's a Sunday night, so I appreciate all of y'all joining us tonight. Northwest, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it, Jen, Sin, thank y'all.
Damien, if you're still watching.
Yeah, Miss Cisco dropped in. Love her. Love being on her show. I'll have her back. I'll have to have her on live stream one night. Cisco's awesome. Go check out her channel, Journey Through the Gate Paranormal Portal on YouTube. She does broadcast a lot of times on Sundays and Mondays. She has some awesome guests on there. She has Steve Stockton on there, which is one of my friends. He's also a friend of the show. I'm actually the new editor for Missing Person and Mysteries podcast. So I'll be editing all their podcasts. But go check out Unseen Paranormal Podcast if you don't listen already, and check out what we have going on. Make sure you smack that subscribe button on the YouTubes, and like the pages on Facebook. We got the Unseen Paranormal Podcast group lounge, Unseen Paranormal Lounge, I think is what it's called, on there too, where I post all kinds of stuff. But also check out Medics for Paranormal on the Facebooks, and keep up what we're doing. And Northwest, wherever in your area, we'll hit you up. You ever out here towards Nashville, hit us up, and we'll see y'all soon. Y'all have a good night. See you later, Sin. Y'all have a good night.
Bye.